Hey, how's it going? Nick here, and thanks for stopping by. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 5 exercises you can do if you experience lower back or knee pain. And I also made a little document you can download if you ever need to reference these exercises. So check that out in the description box below. Odds are most of us spend a substantial amount of our time sitting throughout the day, and believe it or not, that alone can be a huge contributor for why we gradually develop discomfort in our posterior chain. Now with that said, it's also important to describe the type of pain because that's what determines the next course of action. In this case, I'm referring to pain that may cause reduced range of motion, pain from a certain muscle action, or even just muscular straining. If you feel sharp shooting pain down or something debilitating, I'd recommend that you see a specialist as they obviously have more appropriate ways to diagnose discomfort. Now here's a quick tip before we get started. If you've never performed these exercises before, I think you'll find them more challenging than they appear. Anyway, let's do this. For the first exercise, we'll start with a straight leg raise. To perform the exercise, brace one knee to the chest and keep the other leg straight. Slowly lift your leg up, keeping it straight until your thigh touches your elbow. Once the leg is lifted up, hold for 2 seconds and then slowly lower it. I would recommend performing 2 sets of these for 10 to 15 reps on each leg, or for however many reps you can. Now these are great for the knees, but they also help strengthen the hip flexors. This exercise is far more challenging than you may think. Just the act of maintaining a straight leg throughout the range of motion will be quite difficult and usually an indicator of weak hip flexors. But aside from strengthening your hip flexors, these can also remedy lower back pain. And if you do a lot of sitting throughout the day, you might find this exercise alone is all you need. The next exercise will be the hip abduction, which targets your gluteus medius. To perform this workout, lie on the uninvolved side. For reference, the uninvolved side simply means the side that is not being worked on. Keep the leg that is on top straight and lift it upward about 45 degrees and then slowly lower it. That is considered one full rep, and I would recommend doing this for one set of 10 to 20 reps on each side. The gluteus medius is a muscle that is very important when it comes to even the most basic function, such as walking. Unfortunately, the importance of this muscle is quite underrated because we don't tend to move in a side-to-side motion or in the frontal plane, which is how you would directly target this muscle. Again, this can be deceptively challenging. If you didn't know where your gluteus medius existed, trust me, you will now. The next exercise targets your adductor muscles, which allow you to bring your thigh to the midline of your body. It's basically analogous to having a ball between your legs and then squeezing that ball with the inner thighs. To perform this exercise, lie on the uninvolved side and bend the knee of the upper leg so that the foot is flat on the floor. Keep the involved leg as straight as you can and lift the leg upward, and then slowly lower it. That is considered one full rep, and I would recommend doing these for one set of 10 to 20 reps on each side. Just like hip abduction, this exercise supports balance and alignment. There's no getting around this. The glute bridge looks pretty suggestive, but believe me, it's an incredibly useful exercise to build strength for your entire posterior chain. To perform this exercise, lay on your back with the knees bent and your core slightly contracted so that your lower back isn't arching too much. Your feet should make roughly a 90-degree angle with the floor. Contract your glutes so that it drives your hip up into the air with your heels and shoulder firmly planted on the ground. Stop when your shoulder, hip, and knee form a straight line, and keep your glutes squeezed in this position for about 2 seconds and then lower back down. You should really feel the contraction in your glutes when performing this exercise. Remember, this is a hip drive, so make sure your upper back or shoulders are not initiating this action. If you find that your lower back makes a large arch, this could be indicative of an anterior pelvic tilt, which is also related to a weak posterior chain that affects your hamstrings, glutes, and hip flexors. This exercise will also help remedy that. This exercise will chain 2 movements together, so it will probably be the most difficult. It combines the hip extension with a hip abduction in the prone position. To perform this exercise, lay on your belly with your core slightly contracted. Keeping your legs straight, lift one leg up about 6 inches or about 30 degrees and then outward. Bring the leg back in and then slowly lower it. That is considered one full rep, and I would recommend doing this for one set of 10 to 15 reps. This exercise combines a hip extension movement first, followed by a hip abduction, which targets a lot of the muscles we mentioned before this exercise, and for this reason, will probably be the most challenging exercise here. Well, these are 5 potential exercises you can do if you're experiencing lower back or knee pain. Even if you aren't yet, and hopefully you don't, ever, it's worth giving one or more of these a try if you find yourself sitting for long hours throughout the day. And the reason is because these exercises aren't just meant for rehab, they are also preventative. Plus, you can do these right at home without any equipment. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like and shared it with people whom you think may benefit from them. Also, if you're interested in fitness content, consider subscribing, but until then, I'll see you next time. Stay safe.